Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Clean water is one of our most valuable resources. Conserving it should be all of our responsibility. Remember every day to make every drop count. Wash full loads, take shorter showers, turn off your faucet. Water, use it wisely. Let's commit to conserve.
The Flying Squirrels' hot start has continued into the month of May. Jay and Sam explain how great pitching performances have led the way. Next, we get an insider's look at the Flying Squirrels' partnership with the Ask Childhood Cancer Foundation. Plus, pitcher Caleb Simpson visits FSI Field to talk about injuries he has overcome and how to protect yourself on the mound. All that, and we check in with Matt Lipka and his sunglasses from Altoona. Flying Squirrels Insider starts right now.
And welcome back into Flying Squirrels Insider. We've got a lot packed into today's show. We're going to break down the hot start for the Flying Squirrels 2018 season. It has continued into the month of May. But first, we'd like to thank our friends at Utility Buddy from the City of Richmond Department of Public Utilities. They make us aware of Richmond's natural gas safety program. Getting ready to install a fence or put an addition onto your house? Contractors, homeowners, and do-it-yourselfers, call 811 before you dig. Also, if you want to win free Flying Squirrels stuff, go ahead and text us FSI to 63975. Message and data rates may apply. Mobile services provided by Opt-in Technologies. With that said, we'll bring in my broadcast partner, Sam Ravitch. And Sam, it hasn't been that hot April that the Flying Squirrels have carried into May, but they certainly have held their own, second place in the Western Division. Yeah, Jay, it's been a really good start, I think, to the month of May. When you look at the type of schedule that the Flying Squirrels have played, you've seen teams like Akron, you've seen teams like Trenton, and you've seen teams like Altoona. All these teams are at the top two of their respective divisions, and the Squirrels have held their own. Altoona, Trenton, those are two teams that were in the postseason last year. The Squirrels have been able to get it done with pitching. The starting pitching has led the way. This has been true since day one. And there's guys that are sort of taking the next step forward, starting with Corey Taylor. Yeah, I think, with Corey Taylor and with Jordan Johnson, these are guys that have been here at least a year so far. And now you're starting to see the evolution, and it's starting to manifest itself in these guys. Obviously, you go through the minor leagues to, pick up another skill or pick up another tool to your game. Well, Corey Taylor and Jordan Johnson, they've picked up the tool of command. And I think they're finding the strike zone a little bit more. They're being more effective with their pitch counts, and they're getting ahead in counts, which is really important. And that has allowed them to go deeper into games. Don't tell the stat heads in 2018, but wins do matter, don't they? I mean, for starting pitchers, especially at this level, it signifies that you're able to go at least 5 innings. The Flying Squirrels have been able to do that with regularity this year. Yeah, well, for whatever reasons, wins and losses are still something that people look at. It's just the first thing that comes up. So I think it feels a little bit better, for guys like Corey Taylor and guys like Jordan Johnson. When you look at that win total, I mean, Corey Taylor last year had a 4-11 record. Now, obviously, you need a lot of help from your offense in order to pick up some of those wins. But now he's, tied for the lead with 5 wins in the Eastern League. Yeah, got to feel good for Taylor to get those 5 wins, surpassing his total from a year ago. Also in the mix, you mentioned Jordan Johnson. He struck out a Double-A best 8 batters on May the 11th. Prior to that, one day before, Sean Anderson matched his career high with strikeouts. So the Flying Squirrels are getting it done, not only being able to stay in games, but also being able to put away the opposition. Yeah, I think pitching coach Glenn Dishon will talk to you and say, look, strikeouts, we're trying to pitch to contact and get some good hard ground ball outs, but the strikeouts are exciting too. I mean, when you see 8-9 strikeouts a day for a start, I think that's good to see. Not only you're getting swings and misses, but you're saving your defense a little bit, and I think it's good to see. And the Flying Squirrels rotation actually getting a little bit of a boost. They have a staff that has a 3.18 ERA. That's 4th best in the league. But on top of it, Chase Johnson has returned, at least for the short term, to the rotation. The guy that was here in 2016, coming back from Tommy John surgery. We've seen him a couple of times now. His stuff still looks sharp. It still does. He's still got that hammer curveball too that he can throw in there. With Chase Johnson, it's all about getting back to where he was before. Obviously, he was put on the 40-man roster for a reason, and he's still on there. So he's got the stuff, and I think if he can
keep improving at this level, he'll be up at AAA before you know it, and who knows, maybe make a big league debut this year.
Yeah, you feel like that is the plan for Johnson. He says he feels better coming back from that procedure. Now, it usually takes you just over a year to get back into the swing of things, and sometimes when guys come back from that Tommy John surgery, they don't have their command, they don't have their location. That hasn't been the case for Johnson early on.
No, it hasn't. And, even though his last start out, he may have pitched to a little bit of contact. The first start out was 3 scoreless innings for Johnson. So, it's a learning process. I mean, you haven't pitched in over a year, and you're now pitching against live batting. It's exciting. I'm sure he's excited just to be out there and throwing again, because for guys who have gone through Tommy John or gone through an injury, just being back out there playing competitive baseball and organizational baseball is exciting.
Yeah, really put his name on the map in terms of prospect status here in 2016. Started the 2017 up at AAA, had been placed on the 40-man roster, then had the surgery. So hopefully for him, he's able to get back there. Speaking of being up at AAA, the Flying Squirrels have already had a few promotions, not counting Miguel Gomez, who's up in the major leagues directly from Richmond. But the Flying Squirrels said goodbye to Ray Black and company, Dustin Knight as well. For Black, his first shot at AAA.
Yeah, and when you started this season, you saw those guys like Ray Black, like Dustin Knight, the guy who spent all year last year up at AAA, and Ronnie Freeman, a guy who was at AAA as well not too long ago. So you weren't expecting to have these guys here for that long, but to just kind of have them to get you jump-started, I think, in the month of April, and to get you off to that great start. I think now you have guys that step up in their absence, and they've been producing really well too.
Yeah, absolutely. And for Black, a guy that a lot of Giants fans and prospect Hawks have been looking at to say, when will this guy be able to stay out there on the mound? Well, this season he has been lights out for the Flying Squirrels, a well-earned promotion to AAA, and as I said on the last show, I think he pitches in the big leagues this year.
I think it's certainly possible, Jay. I think from what we've seen so far from Ray Black, when that command is on, when he's throwing 98, 99 miles an hour, that's exciting to see. You look at the radar gun, he's throwing 100 miles an hour, but to be able to have that command too and know where that pitch is going, I mean, that makes the world to Ray Black, because he can also throw that curveball in there, and that changes everything up.
With Black's departure, Tyler Sear on the DL, the Flying Squirrels with Caleb Simpson closing games, and he's going to join us here later on this show. All right, now to the offense. How about this? Luigi Rodriguez, the Flying Squirrels outfielder, a guy that has taken over the leadoff role for manager Willie Harris. Maybe sort of an afterthought in terms of guys coming in to start the season, but he has not only held his own, he's leading the league in batting average.
Yeah, it's exciting to see what Luigi Rodriguez has done, Jay, and this is a guy who, by the way, last year hurt up against the Flying Squirrels when he was with Akron. So now to see him on your team, it feels a little bit better. But yeah, he's batting above 400, and he's also producing runs too, a guy who can bring in RBI, and he's at the top of that order. That doesn't happen very often, and we're starting to see guys, in the major leagues start to do that. Well, Luigi Rodriguez is kind of that guy with speed. He's got power, and he brings runs in, and it's exciting to see him at the top.
Yeah, 8 stolen bases already for Rodriguez. The Flying Squirrels, best single-season batting average. I know this is way early into the year, but it was Matt Duffy back in 2013, hit over 330 for this team. Still a ways to go for Luigi Rodriguez, but Duffy hitting third for the Tampa Bay Rays, so that's sort of good company to be in, isn't it?
That's good company to be in, and I'm sure Luigi Rodriguez is a guy. He came over to this organization, and he's seen guys go up to the next level, and he said, "Look, I'm wanted in this organization, so let's try to be better and be like a Matt Duffy, and we can get up there."
We would be remiss if we're talking about the offense to not mention what Ryan Howard's been able to do in terms of consistency, Sam. Hitting streaks of 8 games, 7 games, and 7 games. He's been able to get on base time and time again.
He's been able to get on base, and he's been doing it, like you said, consistently. And it's nice to know that you're going to get a guy out there at shortstop like Ryan Howard. And even in an interview, we talked about it earlier, he wants the Giants to know what they're going to get on a daily basis with him out there on the field, at the plate. And he's been one of the more reliable guys at the plate to get on base and bring in runs. And he's been doing it, at the 2-hole or at the 3-hole. You can put him anywhere.
Final thoughts. The actual scary thing for this Flying Squirrels offense is they've been getting it done without a real contribution from Jerry Sands, who we know is going to hit at this level, and Jonah Arenado, who's been on the mend with an injury but should be back at the end of the month. So this team offensively could certainly get a lot better.
Right, and you just also got Casey Hobson on this team too, and this is a team that can have a lot of power. I know we've seen the home runs in short spurts, but I think when you get an Arenado back, when you get Jerry Sands going and Casey Hobson gets his feet under him at the AA level, this is a team that's pretty hard to beat.
By the way, it feels like summer is here too, so the weather at the ballpark hopefully will be a lot better this weekend.
Hopefully.
All right, that'll do it for us here from the desk segment. We've got a ton coming up here on Flying Squirrels Insider. In fact, one of the more emotional moments at the ballpark will be this weekend for the Flying Squirrels. But first, what happens when you pit a flying squirrel against the Flying Squirrel.
It's time for Squirrel versus Squirrel, round one.
This is frustrating. That's disappointing. That's disappointing. All right, buddy. Come here.
It's really a celebration of many months of hard work by our community. Our Ask families and their supporters have been fundraising for months, and today is a time to stop and celebrate all the hard work that they've done in our families and our patients. We are hoping to raise $150,000 today. As this race started, we've raised $1.6 million to help kids with cancer here in our community.
Oh, I love Ask. They made the transition and the hospital stays and the long visits at the hospitals bearable. They engage your child, they engage you, they have stuff going on. His favorite thing is getting snacks there or getting toys over there after being pricked too many times. So just making it bearable for us to go through 3 years of treatment.
So all of the funds raised here today will stay local. Ask is a local nonprofit. It'll support kids with cancer who are being treated at the Children's Hospital of Richmond at VCU, which is where all of our programs are based. It will help fund a psychologist, a chaplain, and a child life therapist to help the kids get through treatment every day, as well as fund social outings for the kids, financial assistance, and educational programs. The Squirrels have been this amazing community partner for us. They have really opened up their arms and embraced our families and the mission of our organization. And obviously opening up the space here at the Diamond to host our events, creating a special jersey for Ask Night at the Diamond, letting all of our participants have a ticket to the game so they can come back and celebrate another good time here at the Diamond. It's all been great.
We have it easy compared to those kids, and it makes it that much better to be out here with them and help them out and support them in any way we can. Like, I still get goosebumps just thinking about it and the battle that they have to go through.
When we come back for Ask Night at the Diamond, we will have a moment of silence first to remember all of the kids who we've lost to cancer, and then all of the patients and survivors will take a victory lap down on the field, and the whole audience stands up and celebrates and cheers them on. The band plays Don't Stop Believing, and I cry every single year.
Welcome back to FSI Field. We've got our special guest joining us today, Flying Squirrels relief pitcher Caleb Simpson. And Caleb, thanks for being here today.
Appreciate it, man.
Before we get into the season that you've had so far and some of the accomplishments you've been able to put together this year, I want to go back to sort of your roots, coming up initially as a catcher, correct, before you turned into a pitcher?
Yeah, I was actually drafted as a pitcher. Caught my whole life, and then the Giants just didn't see it in my future, so they decided to pick me up as a pitcher. And at that point, you know, I was just happy to sign a contract.
Yeah. And so how did they recognize that you had that arm? I mean, seeing you throw out runners at second base, is that something that they noticed?
I guess seeing me throw down at showcases, pro days for teams, and I guess something just sparked their eye, and they wanted to see me off the mound. And it was all raw, and there was no teaching. It was just, you know, me up there throwing. I guess somebody saw something. And
I saw a big fastball, right?
Yeah, I saw a big dude throwing a big fastball.
Big guy from Oklahoma. Yeah. But it's been a bit of a journey for you to get to this point. Yeah. You and I have talked on the Flying Squirrels pregame show about sort of some of the trials and tribulations you've had. Can you sort of recount that for you and your experiences to get to this point?
Yeah, so I signed in 2013, and I ended up slipping a disc in my back. So that put me out for 2013, and then rehabbed. I was ready to go for the 2014 season, and I strained my UCL in my elbow. So they gave me PRPs.
Which is the injection,
Injection, right? Yeah. They took out blood, and they took out PRP, and they injected my elbow. and did a bone marrow transfusion. So they take bone marrow out of your hip and put it into your elbow. Rehabbed all of 2014 season, didn't get any innings, and then 2015 ended up having Tommy John because the bone marrow failed. So I missed the 2015 season, rehabbed all that year, came back for 2016. I was finally cleared, I believe, at 13 months. So I broke to short season and ended up getting like 6 innings and blowing out my shoulder. Tore a labrum, had a cyst in there that was pinching, so I missed the 2016 season. And in 2017, battled back and finally made it for my first full year.
There's a lot of perseverance there.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, you know, you go through mentally, and I know that the guys at the lower levels, a bunch of my buddies say how much of a grind it is. Well, I mean, I feel like I went through a personal grind as well on a different level, a different experience than what they.
What kind of support group do you need for something like that in terms of family and friends?
Yeah, family. You know, my dad's got a lot of experiences. He's been all over the world. You know, he was in the Air Force for a while, and he's got a lot of experiences, and he helped me through understanding that it's all going to be okay. Right. It is a setback, and it is a big deal to have to sit there and rehab and go through all this mental stuff. But he's always reminding me that there's more to life than baseball, you know, and putting things in perspective for me helped a lot. And my wife was there, and, you know, she always helped me stay balanced and keep things in perspective.
So here's a raw pitcher coming out of college, going through injury, and now you're finally healthy and finally able to get the innings in. And now you're starting, I think, to learn a little bit about what your repertoire is and how to get hitters out. Yeah,
you know, learning things at the AA level is definitely a difficult thing. Glenn Dishman, our pitching coach, I believe I was telling you about it, he showed me a slider, and I haven't really been able to get into double plays, get out of sticky situations very well. I'm a fly ball pitcher, so he showed me this slider, and it actually been working. I've been, you know, getting out of innings that in the past years would have been a lot more difficult.
And you were saying this is a pitch that, had you been able to kind of work on your pitches back in 2013 or 14, you would have already had in your arsenal.
Yeah, I would have already had it, and I would have learned it, and it'd been a lot easier instead of picking it up and going. And it's either, you know, being able to throw a first strike or figuring something else out because there's no more time left on the clock. You know.
How, I guess, thrilled are you that, you know, well, not only you're healthy, but also you've been able to close out games successfully for the Flying Squirrels?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, I talked to Ray Black a lot whenever he was here because he's kind of, I'm almost following in his footsteps. He's been through a lot as well. So being able to talk to him about those situations and talk about save situations and kind of what he does helped a lot. Never really been a closer, never really had a role. Like I said, this is all fairly new. So being in those situations and feeling the adrenaline in the ninth inning at the Diamond's pretty special.
It's been special to have you. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
All right, back here at FSI Field in a little bit with Caleb Simpson for a Flying Squirrels baseball demonstration.
A 1 pitch. Tucker swings and lifts it out toward left field for Matt Lipka. Trots over a few steps to his right, and he makes the catch for the first out.
BP is the biggest part for me. Is just kind of it's sort of an educational time to get out there and like see how this park is playing. You know, where's the ball flying to, where is it not. You know, Richmond, like left center doesn't fly to left center, so you know you got to be cognizant of that, and you got to bust it to get back there on balls that are hit deep. But yeah, I think the biggest piece of advice that I got coming up with the Braves was a McCutcheon article actually, and it said the best outfielders aren't the ones making the diving plays and all that stuff, and that's what he does in BP. Is he's making sure every ball's hit, he's either peering with his glance and trying to measure where that ball is going to land. So even if it's, you know, a ball that's not hit to him, he's still gauging and all that stuff, and all that just helps you make reads and stuff and go back on balls. So, and that's the biggest thing is for me, you know, I can cover a ton of ground out here. I'm not really a corner guy, but I'm going to get there with my feet. I'm going to stop runners with my feet. I'm going to get to the ball quick. And, you know, if I can not dive, that's even better. I'm trying to make everything look routine. All these parks kind of have their own quirks. Like left, they got that corner, which obviously if a ball kicks out on you, it's going to be coming. They've got an extremely short wall here, so knowing that when I play left here, I'm trying to get back as quick as I can on a ball, you know, in case I have to judge a jump or something, because this is a park that you can obviously rob something. And then in the right field corner, you got this weird kind of like kick out here, and then right there it starts to edge, like kind of slant backwards. So you got to know if a ball's hit there, it's going to kick that way on you. I noticed when I went to AA to AAA with the Braves, when I went to International League, I started playing in Scranton, sort of like up north where we are now. The grass is a little different. I don't even know. I don't know my grass, but it is a little different. This stuff plays. It's short, but it plays thick. Like you see ground balls that should be getting through. It gets batted down pretty good. And same thing out here. Balls aren't going to roll a ton out here, so you have the opportunities to get around balls and kind of position your body to be able to throw the ball well.
Here's the first pitch to George. Swings it, pops it up toward left. Over for it is Matt Lipka. A few steps over to his left, and he makes the catch.
I think all outfielders should have glasses. If you're not using glasses, then you're going to be peering up, and you have to use your glove. And then on that, you're going to have to either pick one side, depending on where the sun's at, and then still you're going to be staring into the sun, and you're going to have to basically just almost guess to where that ball is, if it's lost in the sun. So I just like to completely eliminate, having that worry in my head, and I always love having these. I've had these for about 2 years now, and I think as outfielders, it is 100% necessary for it. First of all, obviously, you go and try glasses, like you don't want to look like a goober in them, so like I put them on, I make sure they look okay on my face. Like I know when I was coming up, like the cool thing was to have them down to here or whatever and stuff. So I think that's all kind of gone away. But yeah, I just like to pick one. I like to pick a lens that looks good on my face. These are a little old. These are I want to say they're the radar locks, but I just put they're called the prism lenses, and they're I don't know if you really get in there, but if you really get in there, it kind of it really brightens up the ball and stuff, and it kind of makes the ball pop a little bit. I don't like hitting with them, but if there was a glasses or lens that I would hit with, it'd be these guys. But I don't like the nose piece and the earpiece, or the little nose piece, because it's black. If there was a clear nose piece, I'd probably love it to hit in. I think I got a weird head, so it kind of like pops up on my hat. But I see guys tuck them and stuff too. But a lot of them, they come with vented too. So I'm a sweater, so I like to get mine vented.
All right, we're back here at FSI Field with Caleb Simpson. We're going to go through some pointers on how to defend yourself on line drives coming back to the mound, because, Caleb, you had an incident earlier this year where you had to defend yourself.
Yeah, it was I don't know, who was that? Do you remember who was
I'm not sure who was at the plate. It was Altoona, right?
Altoona, yeah. I don't remember who it was, but I know I fell behind in a 2-0 count, which, as a pitcher, that's a green light for the hitter to come with the fastball. So I fell behind, and then I came with the fastball, and he squared it up, and I got squared up in the process.
Yeah, right off your backside, right?
Yeah, and I see as soon as I get hit, I see the shadow, and then on the mound, because I thought it went straight down, but it didn't. So I see the shadow, and I'm looking all over the place, and then by the time I look up, it's on the ground. I would have tried to catch it.
Yeah, it looks like you almost had a play.
Yeah,
and that's got to be frustrating too, because it results in a base hit and everybody's safe. So you're not only upset you got hit by a pitch.
Exactly.
You're upset everybody's on base too.
Yeah. So like I said, and I've had comebackers happen before, but sometimes it seems like it's in slow motion and you're just moving a hair slower. Like, if that makes sense, you can't really catch up to it, but you see it coming at you. That one, I just didn't even see it.
That left a mark, didn't it?
That left a mark too. Yeah. So, I try to defend myself, but
so how properly? I know it's hard on a 110-mile-an-hour ball coming off a bat, but in general, when you finish your follow-through, how do you defend yourself as a guy who throws hard and violently off the mound?
Yeah,
right?
I mean, when you're taught as a kid, you want to be in a position to defend yourself. So after you throw and you follow through, you want to be in an athletic position to be able to move and make a play, do what you need to do, but I know a lot of guys, pitching is a violent action. So for me, when I throw, I'm falling off to the side, but I definitely have my glove protecting my face.
So that's sort of the last resort
there,
right?
That's
like just get it up.
Yeah.
And if it comes to your face, you can at least deflect the pitch, right?
When, like I said, the rest of the body's fair game, which is fine. I got a couple guys behind me that can hopefully make a play.
Yeah.
But, definitely trying to put yourself in a position to make a play. is ideal.
Yeah.
But, you know, sometimes guys, like I said, are really violent. Hitters are the same way. Hitters, you want to be in an athletic position. A lot of guys aren't really like that. A lot of guys have violent swings, you know. So pitching, hitting is both the same, you know, but
Protect the face.
protect the face, man.
Now, the trainer, Hiro Sato, came out to talk to you after that pitch. What did he say?
He just kept asking me if I was all right. And at the time, it was like a really bad dead leg and just went all the way down my leg. And I just didn't want to talk. I wasn't hurt. It was just, I was more mad than anything. I got squared up. But he just kept asking if I was all right. And, you know, eventually after a minute, I was like, yeah, I'm fine. And then got back on the mound.
Heard about all the things you've overcome. I
Yeah.
think you're a tough guy.
Yeah.
I know you a little bit. You are a tough guy, aren't
Yeah,
you?
right. If that, I've been happier if I got hit with three more baseballs instead of 3 surgeries. I've been all right with me.
Okay.
So,
Well, hopefully that doesn't happen again.
Yeah, let's hope not, because that wasn't very fun.
We appreciate you being
Yeah,
here today.
hey, I appreciate it.
Caleb Simpson, big thanks to him. Everybody at the Ask Foundation for joining us on this program, for my broadcast partner, Sam Ravitch, and everybody here at the WCVE studios. Until next time, my name's Jay Burnham saying so long, and we'll see you at the ballpark in Funville.
Production funding for Flying Squirrels Insider is made possible in part by
Smell gas? Act fast. Don't just stand there. Leave the area. Get out. Go where the smell is no longer present and call 911. Making you aware, keeping you safe. We're Richmond's Natural Gas Safety Awareness Program.